Hey guys, welcome back. This is At the Coffee Table Podcast. I am Jason Clank, and this is episode 70, which just blows my mind that I've been able to do 70 of these. But today, one of my favorites returning to the podcast, and I think it's been about a year since you've been on, but this is Joyce Petras from Body By JBae. Joyce is a certified fitness and nutrition coach and is impacting the lives of women and a few men all across the country. And what we wanted to talk about today, and her and I had a brief conversation over a month ago about the I can't mentality, where you get presented with something challenging and instantly the wall goes up. I can't do this. I can't do that. So I thought Joyce would be a great source of information based on her fitness business to talk about this. So Joyce, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. I believe the last time we met was on January 1st, was it?
Oh, it was January 1st. Yeah, we did the New Year's resolution stigma.
How they're bullshit. No. Yes. I think that's the last time that we spoke together. So thank you for having me back for a third time, I believe. It's my third time on here.
Yeah.
So the I can't mentality. So let's first talk about and begin with the words I can't. Telling yourself you can't is already setting yourself up for self-sabotage and failure before even really trying. Our thoughts and mindset can really hold more power, meaning, and control than the intended action you're trying to implement to begin with, like working out or eating healthier. As an online trainer and coach for both men and women, because I now have started taking on men, not just with personal training, but nutrition coaching as well, to learn, create, and adopt a lifestyle. I hear it all the time. I can't work out. I don't have time. I tried diets and healthy eating before, and I just can't seem to make it work. Or whenever I'm around chocolate and sweets, I can't control myself. Or my favorite, I can't afford to do that. It's too expensive.
So let me ask you this real quick. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So one of the favorite things I've heard, and I've said it myself years ago, was, you got two choices and I was just talking about this the other day. You got two choices of time frames to work out. You can either do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, or try to fit it in sometime in the afternoon. And I've said it. I've heard a bunch of other people say it. There's no way I can get up at 5 or 6 in the morning to work out. It's too early. I can't do it. I'll wait until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's much easier. Now, for some folks, that may be depending on your work schedule. Absolutely. But I know from my own personal situation that if I wait till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I will talk myself out of it every single day.
Been there, done that.
Right? So that's where that whole I can't thing gets me is, how do you know until you attempt it realistically?
Until you implement it and try.
Right.
I like how you said that. When you said that, sometimes people say, I can't imagine waking up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to do my workout. And most of the time it turns out it's not that you can't do those things, it's that you won't. There's a huge difference between can't and won't. And 99% of the time, you can't means you won't. So back to I can't wake up at 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. I won't make myself wake up at 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. When it comes to healthy eating, you won't make it work or haven't found a way to adhere an eating plan that's sustainable. It's not that you don't have the time or you can't do it. It's that you won't make the time to do so and implement that change that is going to get you to that goal that you seek and desire.
Right.
And the one that I said with the I can't afford it. You can't afford hiring a coach or a trainer to help you reach your body goals, but you can afford going out multiple times a week to a restaurant. You can afford to swing through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru to get that morning coffee each morning before you head to work. You can afford to get that weekly mani and pedi for self-care when you can be taking that money into actual long sustainable self-care when it comes to your nutrition and fitness. So it doesn't mean you can't. It's just that you're not willing to do what it takes to afford it or get you to that place. There's a difference. It's tiny on paper, but huge in reality.
Yeah, for sure. And realistically, I mean, it's a matter of perspective. And, you know, if we climb into our own heads and talk about what we can't do, or we can't give up, or we won't give up, or, you know, I need that Dunkin' Donuts every single morning because that's the only way I can wake up. Well, you know, working out at 5 or 6 in the morning will help you wake up real quick.
Heck yeah, well.
Right. And then you're not spending the $5 on Dunkin' every day.
No, not at all.
And I've told all my kids that, especially when they get into that mentality, I can't. Like, they get challenged in school or they get challenged at their sporting event. I just can't. I just can't. Well, if you've already told yourself you can't, you're not going to.
Exactly.
You know, without going into it and saying, well, let me see how far I can get with this, instead of saying I can't. And that's it's perspective. It's choice. It's, you know, can't versus won't, like you said. When you when you started your business and diving into it in the beginning, what was probably the one big negative that you had as far as, well, I don't know if I can really do this?
I feel that I played a lot in the comparison game when I first started, because I always tried to compare myself to other trainers and other coaches on social media, especially on Instagram, where I have the biggest influence right now. And I always told myself I can't get to that place in my profession as all of these people did, because I only have 1,000 followers and they have 1 million followers. How am I going to compete with that and be able to serve such a large and greater audience when I don't even have one? That was probably my biggest concern. But it's because I was too worried about what others were doing that I wasn't focusing on my own grass. And that took a while. And I mean, I still struggle with that at times as well. But I also know how valued and how much worth I can give to others, that I try to refrain from looking at others for influence and just started trying to seek it within myself. So it has made it easier to over time.
Right. And that's what it is. As you said it right there, it's time. It's time. And just to unbox that a little bit, because I heard something interesting the other day on that same subject, was you could have 1,000 followers or you could have 1 million followers. But if you have 1,000 followers, those are 1,000 people that really want to interact with you versus 1 million people you may never interact with.
Yeah.
So again, a matter of perspective.
Agreed.
And I thought that was super cool when I heard the other day. One of my favorite things that I always shake my head at is, I come from an industry where people stick around in the industry because they get a salary that's median. They get benefits. They get a retirement benefit. I can't possibly change industries. I can't possibly change a career because I'd be giving up this retirement I'm invested in. Yeah, I mean, the security. Exactly. It's exactly what it is. Even though there's opportunity out there to earn a better salary, to earn better status, to make a bit bigger impact, to follow a passion, because what you may be doing just because you're safe isn't necessarily your passion, but it's safe. And so let me ask you this: with your clients and your client base, what has been some of the really big aha or success moments that you've seen come out of your clients when all of a sudden the light bulb turns on and they're like, yeah, I can do this, or yeah, this is making a difference?
When I would have to say when they start seeing either the physical changes or or performance changes within their workouts or within their body by fueling it the way that it should be. I think that the biggest problem with implementing change is doing it too much at one time, which is why with my coaching, especially with my nutrition personalized coaching, we implement change gradually over time, because our brains like to feed us a lot of bullshit and a lot of excuses because it's trying to keep us safe, which is great in life and death situations. but not so great when you're trying to grow as a person. And because it requires you to be uncomfortable, and it requires you to do something that you don't normally do. You have to implement some kind of change, and our brain and our bodies don't like change. So that's why I like to implement that change gradually instead of doing a 180 overnight and giving you 10 to 20 different things to do in one day and saying, hey, good luck. This is what you need to do to live a healthy lifestyle. Each week we implement it gradually. We'll take 1 or 2 practices and start working on it for 7 days. See how we're doing. If we're doing okay, then we're going to implement another positive, healthy practice into that to kind of lay a solid foundation of healthy, sustained living. So that way, after the 12 weeks is up with your time with me, it doesn't even feel like you completely changed your life, but a little can go a long way in due time. And at the end of the program, they really have completely changed the way that they go about every single day. And it's because we did it gradually and didn't do it all in one day.
So have you had the experience of a client that's so up in their own head that you had to call them out on their own BS and give them kind of that, shock moment, or, tough love, we'll call it.
I do it every day. You can ask any of my clients in both training or in nutrition, and they will tell you that I am blunt, I am honest, and I am straightforward. And I think that is one of the main reasons why my clients have so much success, because I don't sugarcoat it. Yes, right. I will keep you accountable. I will motivate you. I will push you. I will guide you. I will feed you with the knowledge that you need to succeed long term. But if I notice that you're not pushing yourself to your potential because you deserve that, I'm going to call you out on it, and I'm going to tell you. And it's not to belittle you or to discourage you or to make you think that what you're doing is not great, but it's just to push you more because you deserve more. We all deserve more than mediocre. And that is my job, to show you that and show you that there's another way that you can do it. And not feel bad about it or feel uncomfortable. Yeah, it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but if it's worth it to you, you're going to find a way. And if not, you'll continue to use that victim mentality of, I can't do this, I can't do that. The victim mentality at work and puts blame on a lack of time and takes your responsibility out of the equation. Like, I can't work out because I don't have time. That's the victim mentality mindset, and it's bullshit. Because most of the time when we use can't, we feel, think, and behave like victims. Like we're powerless against our circumstances and we have no say in our lives. But this can be furthermore from the truth. You and I both know we are 1,000% responsible for our lives and must grab the wheel and take control of it. No one can do that but you, though.
I'm glad you brought up victim mentality, because I think this is where a lot of this kind of stems from. The whole I can't is oh, woe is me. I've had this difficult time, or I went through a divorce, or life continuously craps on me, or oh my I have mental health issues that are preventing me from moving forward. And there's no way to climb over those hurdles. I'm just talking about this here recently. Climb over those hurdles if you're going to hit the hurdle and bounce off and fall back. And so let me ask you this. What is the reaction when you're going, get out of your own head, stop believing your own BS? You're not a victim here. You're trying to do better. What kind of, is it generally a positive kind of reaction, or you get a little bit of hesitation?
Yes.
Is it?
I've had a client or two hang up on me because I do virtual coaching. So it's just like this, like we're on a podcast. It's through FaceTime or Skype. Generally, my clients do take it well. Like I said, I've had a client or two hang up on me, but then I call them back, and then that'd be fine. But aside from that, they do typically take it, because if it's happening continuously each and every single week, it's kind of a repeating cycle, and the only way to break free of that is to break through it. And that is where I come into play, and I help them break through it, because if you're not going to break through it, you're just going to continue to stay stagnant. You're going to continue to be exactly where you are, telling yourself the same exact stories in your head.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, though. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Let me ask you this.
Fine.
Do your clients know your story?
Yes.
To an extent.
For the most part, most of them do know my story. And a lot of times, for those that don't, I tend to tell them my story to kind of help them better understand where I'm coming from, and it makes it more relatable, because yes, I can tell you one thing, and it's easier said than done, especially when it's coming from somebody saying that to you. But it's another when that person can relate on the same exact level, because I've been there, I've done that. I've dealt with mental health issues. I've dealt with the victim mentality mindset. I've blamed others for me not being able to ultimately succeed and reach my goals. I've been there, I've done that, and I've overcame that. And there is another way, and that's what I try to show them.
That's what I was just going to say. And for anybody that's watching that doesn't know Joyce's story, if you think you can't overcome something, you got to understand it. You know, Joyce went through those dark times where she was in a hole she couldn't climb out of, and really, you know, fitness and nutrition was her passion that saved her from drowning in that abyss, to say. And I just did a piece of content the other day that said, stop blaming everyone else. Look yourself in the mirror and be accountable for what you need to be accountable for. Own up to what you need to be own up for, and, you know, stop making it the universe's problem, or, you know, a family member's problem, or an ex-spouse's problem, or whatever it might be, because that's that victim mentality of blaming something else other than looking right in the mirror and say, all right, I'm changing you, is probably one of the biggest hangups for a lot of people.
Agreed. And like you said, before even starting Body by JBae, I started Body by JBae in June of 2019. In December of 2018, my doctor took me out of work. I used to be a kickboxing trainer before starting my own business, and my doctor took me out of work medically due to my mental health. And he actually took me out for a year, and 7 months later, after receiving therapy and doing a lot of inner work, I decided to go against his wishes and started Body by JBae, because I wanted to help women break free of what I broke free from in nutrition and in fitness and in mindset. I had to do a lot of inner work, and that's what it takes.
And I'll point this out to anybody that's watching this, is that you went from struggling and trying to make yourself healthy to creating a business to having the business you have today. Now, how many clients are you working with now?
On my fitness or on training, I have over 300 athletes on my training app. And for nutrition coaching, I've now opened up my services to men, which is great. I just took on my first male client, and he's doing amazing and has actually encouraged me to open my doors to more men. So I am now offering it to men and women. I currently have 30 men and women that I'm coaching through nutrition, just because it is one-on-one. So it takes a little bit more time as opposed to my programs that are on my training app. And I've helped over, I don't even know how many women and men I've helped since starting Body by JBae. Hundreds, which is amazing.
Right. I was going to say, here's my point. You went from struggling and not being well and not doing well to making a conscious effort and not saying I can't, to starting your business, to growing it, to serving hundreds of people all across the country and
world. I have clients all over the country. In Australia.
So it's all over. It's global. Body by JBae is global. And if this doesn't prove to anybody that's watching or listening to this that you can, no matter what it is, you can, I don't know what else does.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And kudos to you, because really it's a success story. You might not realize it. I'm sure you don't give yourself enough credit, but it truly is a success story. You went from 0 in step 1 to serving hundreds of people across the world. A local girl grew up here locally in the, in the local area that started out with a few followers on social media, and it grew this business and grew this movement to where it is today. And to me, that just knocks I can't just out of the park.
Beat that I can't.
Beat that I can't. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I've done a little bit of coaching. I've done some coaching with real estate agents, and it's funny when they achieve a goal, they get to a certain glass ceiling, they achieve a goal. Say it's commission production. And I'm like, I always tell them, don't think you're going to let your foot off the gas now and just coast, because you did what you were wanted to do in 12 months. You did it in 10. And they're like, well, really? I'm like, yeah, now you have to double what you just did, or, add to, beat what you just did, because this was your original goal. And it's having that mentality of, what else can I do? What else can I do? Versus, I just can't do that because of, X, Y, and Z. My mom hates me and my dog won't look at me, and whatever it might be.
I like to call that the never settle mentality.
Never settle. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the worst thing we can do is settle. And one of the things I kind of preach on, and I really believe in now, is getting towards the end of life and having a bunch of regrets because you didn't do. And you said, I can't.
What you wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. Because, one of the more profound things I heard was, go sit in a nursing home with 80 and 90-year-old people and listen to all their regrets because they didn't do what they wanted to do for, decades ago.
They're wasting their time on just living a mediocre life, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And I come from a generation that, I was influenced by the baby boomers. That was... and I talk about this too much, but you go and you graduate high school, and you go to college, and you graduate college, you get a good job for a decent salary that has benefits, so you can get a retirement and hopefully make it to retirement with that benefit, to have a nest egg and hope that you don't die when you retire. How? Yeah. It's like,
boring.
There's so much more to that.
Yes. Yes. You only have one life to live. Who wants to live a boring one?
Right. And look at all people we get to interact with. I mean, I've had the privilege, and I'm very grateful for the amount of people that I've had on the podcast and interacted with. I've had some great conversations. All the people that you're interacting with across the globe and making their lives better and making them healthy. And I guess if it wasn't for this, it'd be a lot harder. But
right. Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity to really have some impact.
And it shows that it can be done and it's possible. Yeah. I've done it. So many of my clients have done it. So why can't you? Why are you so different than anybody else that has achieved their goals?
For sure.
There isn't. There's just a difference in mindset.
Yeah. It's all perspective. It's all mindset. And it's one of the things you can choose to be, I can't, and be miserable and not make things better. Or you can choose to be, I can do anything, and I'm going to knock this out of the park because this is my goal and this is what I want to achieve. And really, I'd rather choose the latter because there's a lot more satisfaction there. Yeah.
And even just saying those words can feel like a huge relief in your brain and on your shoulders. Like I have sat there and thought about something that I really wanted to do that was big and scary and thought that I couldn't do it. And just thinking of it inside my head gave me immense anxiety. My forehead felt a lot of pressure. I felt like my heart was going to explode. And then I would just sit there and say, okay, slow down. Think of solutions. There's always a solution to every problem.
Absolutely. Just said that yesterday.
Even the ones that you think that you don't have resolution to, there is. And just even saying that and say, okay, I can do this. There is another way. What is another way that I can do? And just even saying that tension and that relief will be lifted off of you. It's crazy.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And on my end, like years ago, I'm going through a divorce. Life is crap, at least in my perspective. If you walk down the street and ask me how I was doing, it was always terrible. How are you today? Terrible, terrible, terrible. Now, if you pass me on the street, no matter what kind of day that I'm having, it's, oh, I'm great. Things are fantastic. Thanks for asking. You know, and it's just, if you keep it there, if you keep it high, it's gonna, no matter what's going on, it just ends up working out.
I agree.
Yep.
I know a lot of times when we blame others, because we do blame others for why we can't personally accomplish something, or things like lack of time, you give up your power to change things and implement change in the first place. Just with the I can't mentality, you're already setting yourself up for sabotage before you've even actually put your 2 feet on the ground. But the truth is, we do have more power than we think and more than we give ourselves credit for. I know you were just talking about your attitude. If I were to see you walking down the street a couple of years ago, as opposed to now, your attitude is a choice your attitude is your choice every single day, because back to lack of time, who really has time? I haven't found one person or one client that I've worked with that has told me or has had extra time lying around. Instead, we all have to make time for the things that are important to us.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Being present.
I don't always have the time to meal prep. I don't always have the time to sit there and work out for an hour, but I make and I create the time because it's important to me and it's a priority and something that I've made a routine into my life. I don't think I have ever said to myself or somebody else that I don't have the time to work out. I was actually just talking about this with my friend last week with a post. I forgot which post that I put up, but talking about how we don't have time to work out. That's bullshit. You will never hear me say that. I have never said that in the 10 plus years that I've been training, because it's a non-negotiable. Just like me showering, going to work every day, brushing my teeth, so is working out, because I know that it helps me better deal with the stressors that I have for the rest of my day moving forward.
So we all have the same 24-hour period. So
Agreed.
You only need 6-7 hours of sleep. If you work 8 hours a day, now you're at 14. Well, that's 10 hours. Okay, you can take out 2 hours for traveling. So now you're at 12 hours.
Yep.
A lot of time in there to get a workout in or do whatever you work, a side hustle, whatever it might be.
Yeah. A lot of times when people tell me they don't have time, even those that aren't even clients of mine, I will tell them to fill out a time management worksheet for me for 4 days, 2 working days, 2 days off. It's basically an assessment that has all of the times of the hour for that day, and just jot down every 30 minutes or 1 hour of what you're doing with your time. And most of the time, those that tell me that they don't have it are not using their time productively. So there's a lot of Netflix and chill going on, a lot of Facebook and Instagram scrolling, just simple tasks that are taking away and draining our time and energy when we could be putting it into something more of value to us, like working out or making a healthy, nutritious meal instead of just reaching in the freezer to see what's convenient, easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I had a business coach tell me, listen, if you're going to sit there and scroll on social media, make sure it's so you're finding a place to post something productive. Otherwise, get off of social media.
Yep. I've actually have started to do that and implement that. I haven't been as active on social media in like the past month. I've been posting about once to twice a week. I usually post 3 times a week. I'm usually on social media for hours on a day, and I've kind of eliminated all of that because it's draining my energy, and I could be putting it into my work and more programs and helping more men and women.
That's awesome. Well, what's up for the new year for Body by JBae?
Well, I just came out with a new nutrition coaching program about a month ago now. I feel like it's called Fast Track Nutrition. It's basically the same structure as my 12-week personalized coaching program, but it's more affordable for the everyday woman. And it's basically on your time or in your terms on your time. Instead of meeting once a week, there's just one power 90-minute initial consultation upon meeting the first time. And then the following 11 weeks, we just communicate electronically. And I am also working on 2 different new online training programs for both beginner and advanced athletes. It's basically for those that are currently training with me, it's the same training style as I normally do. It's functional fitness, minimal equipment, a lot of metabolic conditioning, heavy lifting, and HIIT and circuit style training. But my programs are going to be extended now. So instead of just 4 to 8 weeks, the beginner programs are going to be 4 weeks with an option to either do full-time or part-time, because I noticed that a lot of athletes given the season, whether it's summer, fall, winter, sometimes they're more busier or not so busier than others. And so now there's part-time, so you can train with me 3 times a week or 5 times a week. As well with my advanced programming, it will be full-time or part-time, but you'll have an option of either training with me for 8, 12, or 16 weeks. And I also just started training subscriptions. So instead of just having to buy my training programs outright on my website, you can now train with me monthly, quarterly, or yearly.
That's awesome. All good stuff.
Yes. A lot of things working up.
a lot of irons in the fire.
Yes.
So any final words before we wrap up for today?
Well, actually, yes. I wanted to talk about something. Are we short on time? I know I've been
Nope, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know I explained to you, I wanted to talk about this this journal prompt that I use with some of my clients in my coaching program to help change the I can't mentality. It's called the Fix This Shit journal prompt. So I can
That's awesome. Fix your shit.
I can probably paste it or link it below once this is on Facebook for those that don't want to hear me talk and kind of want to see it visually. So basically it starts out with just taking out a piece of paper or using the notes app on your phone, which I know you're all on right now.
Absolutely.
So starting off with identifying all the things that you should make a priority for. So insert working out, meal prepping so you can eat healthy, journaling, meditating, yoga, you name it, whatever it is that's important to you that you're not currently doing or implementing. Then take a look at your list and just choose one item that would have the biggest impact on your life today. So kind of going back to my coaching where we just gradually implementing change, just take one of the 10 things that are on your list so it doesn't seem so daunting or overwhelming. And then write down all the reasons why in the past you couldn't tackle this in the first place. And then from there, I want you to rewrite all those statements with a solution. Because again, every problem has a solution. So how can I make this work? And jot down all the ideas that come to mind. And then next, we need to think about all the obstacles that are going to stand in your way. So your inner critic, a family member or spouse, lack of time, lack of motivation, etc. And connect them to a solution for how you're going to make this work. So I want you to take the first step now, all of you watching, listening, whatever that may be. If you want to meal plan more, go find recipes right now and don't give me that bullshit tomorrow logic. If you want to work out, go do it. After you're done watching this episode, get up and get moving. Even if it's just 10 to 20 minutes of just walking outside, moving your body as opposed to just sitting.
Amen.
Because there's never going to be a perfect time to start, but there is right now. And that's all that's promised.
Yeah. I mean, there's And just to open that a little bit, there's power in writing it out, like you said. There's power in writing it out and seeing it on paper, and then going, all right, how do I fix this? I think there's a lot of power to that.
Agreed. I write everything out.
But remember, knowledge is not power unless you put it to action. There's the third part to
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is not power without action.
Yes.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. What else you got? Anything else?
Let's see. I did, for those that do know me, and do my training or follow my training, I do mostly at-home workouts with minimal equipment. I have done so for 7 years now. I did make a post about this the other day, for the reason me doing home training with minimal equipment is because I canceled my gym membership about 7 years ago now, due to other things that we don't have to talk about right now. But anyway, 6 months ago, I started going back into the gym in and out and have really got my confidence back and training in a gym setting. So after I come out with my new training programs, which are going to be called AMP Home, I will be rolling out with some gym-based programs as well to serve more men and women. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
And I liked your one post the other day where you're doing a workout outside, kind of on a patio. And really all that was is for those that say I can't because I don't have the equipment to work out at home. You should go to Joyce's page and watch that video because there's all kinds of functional training there that you can do, even though you don't have hand weights or bands or loops or whatever it might be.
Yep, I did. So I remember that it was on Monday because I was still in Michigan and it was my boyfriend's rest day. And I'm like, Monday's not a rest day for me. So we're going to do something. So I went out on his patio and worked out.
Yeah, see, there it is.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And you know, and it comes down to commitment and being present. And that's it. You know, if you want to make positive change, if you want to see results, if you want to achieve your goals, then you have to be present and make the commitment and have good routines, good habits, and so on. So there's a whole lot of good stuff in there. Joyce, I thank you for joining me here today. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your experiences. I think a lot of people would get a lot out of this. We'd love to hear any comments you have. Like Joyce says, she'll put some information in the comments, and this is on, Facebook. It's on YouTube. It'll be on Instagram TV this afternoon. And then we have the audio version on Spotify. So with that, Joyce, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, I hope, you take a lot of value out of this, and, this way you can take better care of yourselves. So take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a good day.
Bye.